See here, the individuals are partnering and working well together. We will continue to do this. The Emergency Operations Center will stay open throughout this storm, and we will ourselves be meeting once again later this afternoon, and we'll be advising the media as more information comes in. Thank you.
All right, and you've been listening to Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz here at Erie County's Emergency Service Operations Center. State and local officials come here, they sit down together, talk about how they can protect the public in a time like this. Just want to recap really quickly that there is flash flooding in the Upper Niagara River because of ice jams there, some flash flooding. Driving bans still in effect in Evans, Angola, Eden, Hamburg, Orchard Park, Lancaster, West Seneca, Depew, Lackawanna, Elma, East Aurora, North Collins, Brant, and Colden, and Thruway is still closed from the Ridge Road exit all the way up to the Erie, Pennsylvania line. Route 400 is closed, the 219 is closed, Route 62 and 72. You're being advised not to drive in downtown Buffalo. We also heard them talk a little bit about tonight's Sabres game. It's still unclear if that game will be going on tonight. As of now, nothing's changed. I have been in contact with Sabres officials, but they're urging people to stay home, stay safe, stay off the roads. You heard that a trooper was hit last night by somebody who shouldn't have been driving. That's just the kind of dangers that they want to avoid. But all in all, the good news in all of this is that most people have been listening to the driving bans. They've been staying home and off the roads. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Nalina, thank you so much for being there to cover that press conference for us. And anytime there is an update from officials today, for those of you just joining us, we will bring it to you live, and we will be doing updates for you at the top of every hour to let you know how things are changing, because they are changing here minute by minute. At this hour, Erie, Wyoming, and Genesee counties remain under a blizzard warning. There's also a flash flood warning that was more recently issued for the Niagara River at Grand Island and near the Robert Moses Parkway in Niagara Falls. Now, most of Western New York is under a state of emergency. Blinding snow like this and unforgiving wind chills have brought us to our knees here in Western New York. It is downright dangerous to be outside, as you just heard Erie County's health commissioner talk about. It's wind chills taking us into the negative double digits. Todd Santos and our weather team have been doing a really great job of tracking all of these changes for us throughout the morning. And Todd, this newest development really is the ice jams along the upper Niagara River, and you have a great illustration of that for us.
Exactly. I'm actually going to take you first downstream just to get an idea what it looks like in the gorge. It's a pretty remarkable shot. There's the Niagara Falls cam. This is a half-hour time lapse. That ice locked in, just hanging out there. Now that side of the picture is kind of beautiful. Thing is, you head at least a little bit further upstream and you start to find some issues, especially just under the Grand Island Bridge. That portion of the Robert Moses Parkway there, some of the low-lying areas could actually see some flooding thanks to some of the ice jam situation that's going on there. So there are some flash flood warnings. They do include Grand Island and Niagara Falls, Cayuga Island. It's really between Cayuga Island and extending down towards basically the power intake where that ice is starting to jam up. So there's a look at the flash flood warning itself. It doesn't include all of Niagara County, but that's the way it shows up in the system. It's really along the upper Niagara River. We're starting to see some of those issues. We'll continue to keep a close eye on it. The warning goes until 3:30 this afternoon. If you remember that Grand Island cam I just showed you, you saw the sun shining, head to the Skyway, complete whiteout situation. This is also a half-hour time lapse. So I know a lot of you well to the north have seen the sun shining, saying, what is the big deal? This is the big deal. And of course, we just heard Mark Poloncarz explaining the situation there. As far as the blizzard warnings are concerned, still in effect for Erie, Genesee, Wyoming counties. And of course, still dealing with some of that lake effect snow. The band has shifted a little ways north. I don't expect it to go really that much further north. We're still going to clip a few areas, could get a little bit of snow to the south edge of Grand Island, Tonawondas as well, but really it's focusing the city over towards the Clarence area and then southward. And I can zoom out to give you an idea what the rest of that band looks like. It does extend all the way to just about Batavia with some of the lighter snow, so giving Hamburg, Orchard Park a little bit of a break. Keep in mind, later today we do expect this to oscillate back to the south, and that'll again bring another good coating. A few areas coming in with under a quarter-mile visibility, including the airport right now. You see that 0, that's really the signature there for under a quarter mile Again, you're talking about some heavy snow. As far as the forecast numbers, still looks like a good bullseye there, especially in through southern Erie County, western Wyoming County, and the northernmost edge of Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties. Again, those are some of the areas where we're talking 16 to 24 inches with a few pockets upwards of 24 to 36. All of the snow really starts to back off by later on, say, this evening, and then overnight tonight, just some light snow here and there that'll last likely into the first half of Wednesday. Well to the north and well to the south where you see that white shading, you're really talking 0 to upwards of 2 inches. So not big time for those areas, but this is exceptionally dangerous for many others. Of course, the temperatures factoring into it for all of us. And I want to look at the outside numbers right now. -4 in Buffalo. A short time ago, we hit -6. That actually beat the record for the day. So we're talking record cold temperatures. And when you factor in the winds, this is what it feels like outside. And this is why we're telling people to stay home anywhere. Even if you were to slide off the road somewhere where it's sunny and nice, you're going to be out in temperatures like this. So again, dangerous cold conditions. Be safe out there. There's a look at the sustained winds. We have started to see a little bit of a southwesterly shift in Buffalo. It's really was at west through much of the morning. That allowed that band to just kind of nudge a bit further forward, or should I say a bit further northward. Don't expect it to be as much of an issue for the north towns, but keep in mind, it's not the time to be driving down into the city or anywhere south of there. There's a look at our forecast for today, likely to top off in the positive single digits, but still with winds gusting upwards of 45 miles per hour. It's certainly not going to feel warm by any stretch today. The snow, again, as I mentioned, tapering off this evening. When you look at the 7-day forecast, you notice much nicer conditions by the finish of the week. We'll start to warm up. This Arctic blast is short-lived, but with the lakes wide open for business, we are, again, really making the most of it. Of course, the blowing snow potential, even if you only have a couple inches on the ground, it's going to be an issue out there for even ground blizzard conditions. So really dangerous to be outside. Really want to urge that everybody just stay home, and keep in mind, even if the kids want to go outside, just a couple minutes is about the only safe amount of time you can really be outside before your exposed skin can have some major issues. So we'll continue to keep a close eye on the situation. Forecast-wise, meteorologist Brian Shaw and I are working hard just to keep tweaking the numbers and making sure we're right on top of the very latest coming in off the lake.
You're doing a great job of it, too. Thanks you so much, Todd. And that is the reason why we have so many school and business closings, over 600, in fact, updated on the bottom of your screen. Also, a reminder that travel bans are in effect for many communities across the region. At last check, the thruway was closed between Williamsville toll barrier and the Pennsylvania state line. This is a live picture of the thruway right now, and you see the whiteout conditions. That is why it remains closed. Dozens of flights are canceled at the Buffalo airport as well. Take a look at this video. This is new, sent in from the thruway westbound near Batavia this morning. As you can see, it's been a slow go on that stretch, which remains open at this hour. We go live now to News 4's Ed Dranch. He's been on the road with our photographer, Chris Broadbent, since wake up. Good morning, Ed.
Teresa, this is Mile Strip Road in Orchard Park. Good morning to you. I want to point out something in particular. Straight ahead, you can see the on-ramp for the 219 through all the blizzard conditions. That is actually closed, and off to the left of your screen, you can see a car that's actually off the road. It looks like it's skidded off the road and it's just simply sitting there in the median. At this point, that's a prime example of why you should not be driving through the South Towns right now. Blinding conditions. This is an actual blizzard, and this is the prime reason why Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz said he pulled back some of those county plows because they simply couldn't see. Again, he mentioned some of those plows were in ditches, but there are plows out there, and this is the time of day, and this is the time when we need to give those plows the time to work. You can see the roads are not in good condition here in Orchard Park. In fact, in Orchard Park, a state of emergency has been issued in addition to the state of emergency that's been issued throughout western New York. Also in Hamburg, a state of emergency has been issued there. A driving ban has been issued in Orchard Park until 6 o'clock tonight, and a driving ban has been issued in Hamburg until further notice. Stay off the roads. It's that simple because we've seen so many people swerving all over the place. Once you're driving, if you're driving fast, snow piles up in the driver behind you, in their windshield, and it makes it that much harder for people to drive. Another on-ramp here for the 219 off to the right of your screen, again, barricaded, and if you actually look beyond the barricade, you can see a good, well, at this point, it's pretty good. At some points on the thruway, though, where it's also barricaded in places where it's closed, there's a good 7 or 8 inches worth of snow just piled up on the entrance ramp, so you can only imagine that these plows are going to have a lot of work to do, and this is the time when we need to give them the time to work. We'll, of course, keep you updated throughout the day. We're driving around, so make sure you're staying tuned to News 4 and WIVB.com for continual updates. Gordon, let's check in with you, though, and see how other roads are doing.
We will go ahead and check in with Gordon. I just want to remind you that Ed is out there with a photographer who's driving with a dash camera to show you what's going on. That's what we're here for. And it really gives you a great idea of why there are travel bans in effect and why many of these roads are closed. Some of you do have to get out. You don't have any way around it. So we do want to keep you up to date on your commute. Gordon Shear is keeping an eye on traffic for us. Hi, Gordon.
Yeah, Ed was on Milestrip Road by the 219. This is a little further west. This is going to be Milestrip Road by the Thruway. That is a portion of the Thruway that is closed, remains closed from exit 55 around the Lackawanna tolls on down to the Pennsylvania state line. Now, the Thruway is open from Williamsville down through West Seneca, although they advise you do not travel it. This is the Thruway near the Kensington Expressway. This is by exit number 51, a very busy interchange, so really, really a rough go and a tricky go with those winds kind of howling. On the northern part of that, the fringe, if you will, that Todd is referring, that's the South Grand Island Bridge. You can see visibility is an issue there. You travel a few miles further north, that's the North Bridge. You are clearly out of the lake effect snow, but a tricky go with that flash flooding now becoming an issue up there as well. The Kensington is still open, and that is below speed. There's not a whole lot of volume. It is snow covered. This is a live look along the Kensington. No cars traveling there right now. If you are traveling between the airport, a lot of delays and cancellations out by the airport too. And again, that Thruway does remain closed, that stretch from basically the Lackawanna tolls down to the Pennsylvania state line. East, if you're traveling out towards Batavia, as far as Leroy, it's really quite snowy. Once you're east of Leroy by the 390 interchange out toward Victor, that Thruway is much, much improved. Still closed is the 219, the 400. You heard County Executive polling cars pass along that Route 62 in Eden is shut down as well, and the Skyway in downtown Buffalo, that remains shut down as well. Teresa?
Gordon, thank you very much. And I think when you look at those traffic cameras, that clearly illustrates that many people are heeding these travel bans, which remain in effect for a number of communities across the region. The blizzard warning also remains in effect. And the newest piece of information is the flash flood warning that was just issued for the Niagara River near Grand Island and the Robert Moses Parkway in the Falls. And we can't say it enough, with these dangerous temperatures, any prolonged exposure can lead to a medical emergency for you and your pets in a matter of minutes. So health experts urge everyone, stay indoors. And if you have to be outside, make sure you wear layers of dry clothing. We are also still waiting to hear if tonight's Sabres game here at home will go forward or be canceled. We'll see you again right here at the top of the hour with more updates.